Week 16 is almost a wrap, which means week 17 is just about here. The best ball finals. Do you have teams that advanced? Are you sweating some teams tonight? Do you have some teams you would just like to tilt? Your bad luck, bad injury, whatever. Pod variants. This is a safe space. Come on in. Myself, Erik Rob, and Rob Coakley. We're going to talk about any sweats that we have or had, look ahead to week 17, talk about week 16, and preview the best ball finals. See what's going on in week 17 and the chaos that is this absurd, truly absurd 2025-2026 NFL season. Let's do it. All right, Rob, we made it. Well, I don't know if we made it. It's here. It's here. Week 17 is here. I don't know if we survived. I don't know if we made it. I don't know, I don't know what verbiage to use, but week 17 is pretty much here, though a fairly big game tonight for a lot of people. Colts 49ers. We're recording a little bit early. It's holiday week, so it's a little bit goofy scheduling this week for sure. However, here's what I want to say. We'll get this out of the way. I'm going to have one finals team. I drafted more than 1,000 best ball teams, and I'm going to have one finals team. And, unfortunately, you don't get to pick which tournament your good teams are in. And so it's in a lowly tournament. So no $1 million sweat for me or anything like that. But I actually found this year to be incredibly fun. It's going to probably be one of my worst years in terms of like ROI and all that kind of stuff. But this was like an exceptionally fun season. And you can always say this, but like in different versions of this season, things probably play out a little bit differently. But all I can ask for, and here's how I'm trying to think about the game, is give me to like these playoff weeks with some sweats, some teams that I think are good. And then, the variance gods are gonna take over. The Detroit Lions turn into a pumpkin. What can you do? Like, what can you do? This guy misses a game. This guy misses a game. Jonathan Taylor loses his quarterback, right? Is playing with Phillip Rivers. Like that stuff is tilting, and we can tilt it for sure. And the folks, you guys can tilt it. This was I had a lot of fun. I've had better seasons that I had less fun in than I've had in this season. And I think week 17 is going to be awesome. Like week 16 has been chaotic. This whole season has been chaotic. And I think week 17 is going to be a ton of fun. And then the NFL playoffs are going to be a ton of fun. So I'm feeling good and optimistic and all that kind of stuff, things that you can improve upon, etc. But yeah, we made it, and it's been a really, really fun ride.
I think it's been a fun season as well. I personally didn't do as many playoff formats tournaments as I usually do, which I'll probably return to a better balance of that next year. So I'm not going to make the finals on anything. We had the BBM team, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I was mostly focusing on like drafters this year more so than anything. And what I will say about the season, it was fun. This is one of those years for me, and we always go back to poker. Sometimes you play a poker tournament and you don't cash, or you min cash or whatever, but you feel great about the way you played it, right? Like you were like, I implemented a lot of stuff I wanted to do. I think I played a lot of the spots I wanted to almost as optimal as I could. Is there still stuff to learn? Of course, because you should always be learning. But I felt like process-wise this year, with exceptions, of course, I felt really good about this year. And I feel like if I did more playoff teams, maybe we have more sweats, who knows? But I really enjoyed how fun this year was overall, especially in like our Discord. And I enjoy watching the sweats. I'm, sweating for everyone that watches along, or definitely people in our Discord that share their teams. I'll be hoping they win. But process-wise, I felt good, and I hope that I can continue that next year, like build upon feeling good about the process I went through, and then just continuing that into 2026.
Right, because you still have regrets or mistakes or whatever you want to call them, right? But I think this is a good step, certainly for me, and we'll get into some of that, and we'll get into your sweats. Trust me, I see you in the chat and all that kind of stuff. Super quick. I know I've been saying this on a lot of the shows, but I'm going to continue to say it for any new folks, or if you've been considering at all getting into the Spike Week tools, which of course were great for sweating your teams that have been hanging around here in the best ball playoff. But with playoff best ball coming up, I find them to be just invaluable. Of course, we have the draft hacker, which overlays really whatever you want to see during your draft. We don't pick and choose it. I have the thing. You can ask me what I show on my draft hacker. You can ask Rob. You can ask the folks in the Discord, but it's customizable for a reason. We want everybody to be able to use this tool to draft the way that they want to draft. And then we also have our draft IQ tool, which helps you analyze your portfolio, see like what Super Bowl matchups are you missing, right? What combinations of players are you missing, or what have you. All of that stuff comes with our Spike Week subscription. And you mentioned the Discord, which has been a lot of fun to hang out with. You get Discord access, you get rankings, you get premium content, you get all of the tools, you get everything for one subscription. And we're running a 40% off sale. There's you see it in the description to this video. Code playoffs25 at checkout will get you 40% off of our annual subscription. So you, from 365 days from the moment you purchase an annual subscription, right? It's not a seasonal thing. You can have access to that. So I just wanted to shout that out for everybody. So let's hit some of the comments. Let's hit some of the comments first, and then we'll dive into some of the stuff.
Well, you hit that. I'll be right back.
Go for it. It needs a CMC miss, a Christmas miracle, a Christian miracle, I guess. Maybe poor choice of words. CMC, big game for Warehouse. It's going to be an interesting one tonight for sure. This will be a little stale by the time people are listening to it, so I don't want to like dive mega deep on this Monday night game. But of course, Colts 49ers, and has huge implications, right? CMC has been a great pick. Jonathan Taylor is a great pick. I don't know. Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle, Brock Purdy. There's a lot of good stuff going on in this game, and I think there's potential for a lot of fantasy points. So we'll get in. I have one team that's going to advance, and one that the infamous Darren Waller 555 team looks like it's gonna die on the vine, but come very close. We can pull that up and look at it as well. It is technically not eliminated, though it would need much more than just a CMC miracle. It would need a hell of a miracle, a bigger miracle than the Darren Waller Monday Night Football game last night, which was a hell of a miracle. So I'm with you. Maybe it's miracle season. We will find out. Rick says his BBM is dead, but the uber prestige. This is how I'm feeling. The uber prestigious MMG Best Ball League Finals. Rick is coming for that crown. Can't wait for Rick to have that in his social media profile. MMG, number 6 or whatever champion. That's how I am in search of becoming King of the Desert number 7 qualifier champion or something. That's what I'm seeking out. Though. Maybe I'm just a happier person nowadays or something. I don't know. I'm being more positive. I'm like sitting here like, if I'm going to win one of these tournaments, it would be kind of cool to then have this kind of like live final sweat aspect to it. So we'll get into my team. It's like really strong, but like really wounded. Like it's kind of like a managed league team. Like I know whose points are going to be counting in week 17. They're good players to have, like very good players. But it's like, I have like 2 bench options. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of injury. So, which is probably good for the other people that are going to be facing me. Shout out Versaire, raising a glass for everybody who's done and not done for the season. JP, we made it to the holiday week for sure. I mean, this is just what a week for just like overall football. Like I said, if you're into playoff best ball, like nothing is decided. We don't know who's going to get the bye. We don't know who's going to get in the playoffs. We don't know, we know pretty much like Ravens and Lions got eliminated, and of course the Chiefs, but that's like part of the chaos. Like, what the hell? Like the 3 of the top 5 Super Bowl favorites before the season are eliminated in week 17. It's totally chaotic. We got football, several different days this week and some pretty good games. So I'm really excited for it. We'll see, Rob, if we get if we get like a more normal few games before Sunday, or if we get the CeeDee Lamb, the Marvin Mims, T. Higgins, like the last 2 seasons, this week, right, where the games are spread out, has been like sort of decided, just like it's been the last 2 weeks. in week 15 and week 16, it wasn't fully decided, right? You could advance without Kyle Pitts, you could advance without Puka Nacua, all that kind of stuff. But in the finals, especially now with those two guys specifically, their ownership, if they would have been playing on Christmas Day or something like that this week, you'd be like, well, Puka, whatever Puka and Pitts do is going to decide this week. They're the Monday night game in week 17. So that's going to be a monster sweat. Spoiler, I have both of them on my advancing team. But it's going to be a super duper fun week. RGT says he hopes JT has one more 50 burger left in him. 50 is probably a little bit audacious, but the 49ers run defense is bad, and JT is still going to get a million touches. If we saw last week, like he is it's Phillip Rivers, please God, complete a 5-yard pass or hand it to JT or throw it to JT and pray that the defense hangs in there. So I think JT's in for how big of a game? That's impossible to say. They're very bad on offense right now, but the Niners defense is very bad too. And I'm anti-sweating Jonathan Taylor. But let's see. Blake is tilting a Ramondre touchdown to lose the last bullet. I think and we can talk about this with some of our teams when we pull them up and stuff. This is like the beauty and the misery of the playoff weeks in best ball, right? Where you're just like, what the hell? Like, seriously, lost to XYZ, scored a touchdown in your pod. And it's probably like different for everybody. You know, like Dalton Schultz killed me yesterday. It was Dalton Schultz and Cortland Sutton in the afternoon window. I have Gibbs and McBride and someone else in the afternoon window, but really Gibbs and McBride were the difference makers. And I'm sitting back, I'm counting Shaheed's score and Waller's score and like in striking distance in the 5-5-5. Like, if you did live odds, probably wasn't the favorite, but was like pretty up there, like heading into the afternoon. And then Gibbs duds, he didn't end up fully dudding, but we didn't get the full Gibbs experience. And then McBride totally duds. And then have Lamar and Zay in the night game. And Lamar gets hurt and Zay's going nuclear and could have given me an actual sweat tonight. And the motherfucker fumbles on his last touch, right? And somebody else gets a Kyle Williams touchdown. And you're like, what the hell, man? Like, I can't get a good Trey McBride game, but Kyle Williams is advancing somebody. Like I said, sometimes it works out your way. In week 15, it worked out in my way. And in week 16, it didn't. And that's just how it goes. This is a funny one. Quentin Williams, not to be confused for Quinnen Williams, but Quentin Williams says, who knew my Genty Harvey Husky 2 team was going to get there. Ashton Genty was a player we've talked about if you've been watching the show for the last month or so as like is there any way to get Genty to the finals? Because please, Lord, against that Giants defense.
Yeah.
Wow. And he helped you, right? He'll be a little bit higher owned, but he can't possibly be super duper popular in the final because his advance rate was like fucking nothing.
Terrible.
Right. It's so terrible. I think he had a lower advance rate than Malik Neighbors, who's been out since like week 5 or something like that. But if you got Genty through, and obviously Harvey is a great guy to get through, I mean, all of a sudden you went there straight Undertaker GIF, right? You're like, oh my God. Like I went from whatever to Genty goes absolutely nuclear and helps you get through. I see a lot of comments. There's too many to bring up here, but a lot of here's the Taysom Hill folks, the Taysom Hill slappies, as our comrades would say, who were wrong all year, right? If you thought Taysom Hill was still going to be Taysom Hill this year, not true. And then they had the last laugh, just like the Genty people had the last laugh yesterday, where Taysom Hill turns into their basically starting running back. He's catching passes. He's throwing touchdowns. The full Taysom Hill experience is a great synopsis, I think, for what happened in week 16. The Saints are like the guys you need, and Taysom Hill would have been a huge piece.
Lave, man, if we would have just got that team. Well, actually, if we got our 5-5-5 team through, we still get our teeth kicked in because Josh Allen got my teeth kicked in on my BBM team.
And Rasheed was out. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would have still faltered. But
so here's another thing to talk about, things that you can tilt, right? I'm sure everybody is, like your pod luck, if you had like bad pod luck. So in the 5-5-5, the team that I did get through had Olave as well. He's 63% owned in the pod that I'm in. and goes for 40. And you're like, well, sure, it's great because it's over if you didn't have him when everybody had him there. But it's like his impact is so muted. And then his impact was so important. It's another thing that's like, would you change anything about that team? Like, not really. It's like, what do you want me to do? T-Mac, right? Olave, Zay Flowers around a Lamar, McBride, Gibbs start is like, what more can you ask for, dude?
Right.
Got Burden coming on down the stretch. If we get through, Judkins got hurt, have Sampson on the team. Maybe Sampson comes back for week 17. It's like, what are you going to do? It didn't work perfectly. Going to score like 180 to 190 something points tonight and not get through. And that's just how it goes. But that's like, don't overcorrect on, we talked about this before. Don't overcorrect on like lessons when like, I don't know, I wouldn't change anything about that team and it's not even going to make the finals. And the team I have making the finals, maybe there's something I would have changed about that one, because it's just a lot about the chaos of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you had told me yesterday, or I guess if you told me Wednesday, that Kenneth Walker and Ramondre scores, because that's two of the backs I had on my team, if you would given me that, I'd be like, okay, we have a fighting chance. And then it's a Josh Allen Mahomes team. So, there's the downward spiral, and the tight ends were McBride and Kincaid. So just like, you're dusted. Like at that point, like you can't do anything. And the rest of the team, like it had George Pickens on it. It performed. The team performed. It had Jamar Chase. We should have at least been fighting for the spot, and just couldn't do it.
So as you see here, like I'm using Cam Ward's score, which is certainly not ideal, though he did score 18, which was nice. But just as you were saying, it was segueing into what I was going to bring up. If you tell me on Wednesday or Thursday, Tyjae Spears, I'm the only person with Tyjae Spears with the hero Gibbs team, right? So the running backs on this team, the biggest concern about this entire team heading into this week, really the only, like, you always have a concern of like, is the guy going to pop off for a truly big game that helps you get through? But in terms of like, where's this team strong? Where's this team weak? I'm like running back too. Like the Bears game is happening. And I'm like, dude, if Kyle Monangai doesn't score like 15 points, it's over. Cause the rest of these running backs are so bad and or hurt. So if you tell me, hey, Monangai got 12, which is fine. I wasn't really sweating, but if you tell me Tyjae freaking Spears on a team that needs running back so bad, scores 21.5 points. And I'm the only team to have him, especially after Ken Walker, who 3 teams in this pod had Ken Walker. I'm like, oh, we're moving on, brother. I'm like, this is, everything was set up. Get the Olave big game, get the Zay Flowers big game. T-Mac, 19 is good enough. It's you always hope for a little bit more, right? But can't be greedy. That's good. Gibbs ends up bouncing back, right? Gibbs clearly, you could tell yourself a story where he does more, but you could also tell yourself a story where, he has another dud game like he had last week. But you're just like, if you tell me all these guys scored these points, I'm like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm like, you tell me these things, right? Shaheed has a punt return touchdown, right? And you tell me all this stuff, and then you just go look here, and it's like, it has Juwan left, but Burden hurt, Sampson hurt, right? Torrey Horton hurt, Ollie Gordon useless, Matthew Golden useless.
Minus 0.1.
Literally minus lost yards. The Ollie Gordon experience. But anyway, and also we learned Quinn Ewers is bad enough. If you were like really hating Tua, let me tell you what, the idea of it can't get worse. It can get fucking way worse than these bottom of the basement quarterbacks, because Waller just was useless.
If you didn't like left-handed Tua, we could show you right-handed Tua.
You could tell how about no-handed Tua? He might as well just throw it and kick it. Just try to kick it down the field. He'd be more accurate. But like I said, what can you do, right? Lamar gets hurt. I'm not sure that Lamar would have mattered too much. But again, like, dude, if Lamar scores 25, there's 7 more points, right? Now we're cooking. Now it's like, okay, we got a real sweat with Juwan. Like I said, technically, I believe if Juwan scores I did 27.9 points or something, which is like within the realm of possibility. However, the problem is that I think Shady has JT. Yeah, Shady has Juwan, who starts just so I can really only gain 3 points on him, I believe, with Juwan. So let's say Juwan does the 30. Well, Shady's getting plenty of those as well, and he's only down by a point to me. So that would then 8.5. He's using Bill's score at 8.5. So then JT would come into play. He has to get sub 12. Let's just call it, right? So JT can't get more than 12, which is like even in the current shape of the Colts situation. Like he got 13 last week. I mean, touched the ball almost 30 times, which is probably what's going to happen again today. So it's pretty much just over. It already would take a miracle from Juwan Jennings, and then it would take a complete and utter miracle from Jonathan Taylor. But that's what I'm saying. Like this team could score 190 points and not only not sniff first, it might not get third. Like this team might get fourth place. You know what I mean? Which is like in an 8-person pod in a smaller field tournament, a little bit of bad luck. But again, like, do you have any regrets on any of this? No, didn't work out perfect, but it's a really good team and just an indication of kind of how chaotic the playoff weeks can be.
Would you rather be where you are? Well, I mean, I guess you'd rather be where you are because there is like a shot, but then we get teams like your 8th place team in this pod where they just got absolutely dusted. And it's just like, well, at least you don't have to worry about anything.
And like same thing, you tell this guy, get the DJ Moore score, right? Tight ends low scoring, and you got Juwan. You're the only team with Juwan. Cool, right? You got Rasheed through, you got Burden through, you know what I mean? You got Woody Marks here, and it's like, oh, by the way, none of them are going to play and because they got hurt in week 15, right? Like Achane rips a long touchdown run to start that game, and it's like, what can you do? What can you do? This is a good team. Judkins snaps
yesterday.
Judkins snaps his leg. Like what? Like sometimes just what are you gonna do? But
dude, that Judkins report. I don't know if you were listening when they brought it up. They were like, "Well, we know he broke his leg," and then they were like, "We think his knee's messed up too," and then just at the end they were like, "And possibly an ankle injury." And it's just like, all right, bro, just like we get it. He's dusted. Like he's done for
his injury reporting is like if someone took a fucking sledgehammer to your leg. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like he like broke everything and tore everything, and it's like, Jesus Christ, dude, like that's scary. That was scary. And you could tell he got hurt from his reaction. It was kind of a weird hit, and his reaction was really bad. Like, oh no, this is super bad. And then they showed the replay on way too much stuff, where like ankles are snapping and knees are tearing and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, we're not showing you guys this one. And I was like, oh no, that's pretty bad, because they've gone like full MMA, with the replays. They don't care, and they wouldn't show his.
Yeah, they hit it all. They were like leg, knee, ankle, his Christmas tree caught on fire. like they were just like going off on that report.
His dog just puked on the carpet. Like, they're just, everything is going wrong for Quinchon. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to bring up this team, not to, but just like as an example of like good team, had a good week, got a pretty good, fairly good run out, got really lucky with the Tajay game. And I mean, technically the Olave game, though everybody has him in this pod, right? And so like get the McBride dud. So like Fannin has the big game. And so we're going into the afternoon like, okay, we still want McBride to score as many points as possible. You want everyone to score as many points as possible. But you're like, it's okay. Like, got the 19 from Fannin. If nobody goes off at tight end, cool, right? We might be able to sneak McBride through. And it just, like I said, Gibbs doesn't do his part. And then Lamar and Zay just didn't quite. I mean, Zay was great, but just didn't quite do enough. And there's a lot of really, really good teams. I mean, look, everybody, like, 5th place has 167. Sixth place has 3 guys left. I don't think they're very good, if I recall. But or maybe he might have JT actually. Yeah, Juwan and JT left here. This dude's gonna score a bunch of points and finish like 3rd to last in this spot. So
yeah, and that's okay though, because he has DK Metcalf, who might be in jail at this moment. So
DK Metcalf had to have one of the worst games I've ever seen, like from all elements. Played terrible, dropping passes. He almost got in a fight with the Lions DBs, and then he punched a Lions fan in the stands. Just like speaking of MMA, like MMA fighters aren't doing, like, there's something wrong with that dude, by the way. He's always getting in fights and like getting personal fouls and stuff like that. Like he needs to seek therapy, I think. Like there's something wrong with him.
Well, they're going to create a DK Metcalf rule after yesterday, because The fact that there's nothing in place for him to not kick him out of the game, they're definitely gonna next year. That's gonna be implemented where like you strike a fan, you're gone, right? Like the fact that they don't have that, but they don't add that stuff until they have to add that stuff, like because you just don't think that's ever a thing that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it does.
You forget how emotionally charged these guys are, how hopped up they are, and God, like I remember. Do you remember back when you were, in high school and college? There was a drink that I don't think they make anymore. If they do, they had to like regulate it and probably change
they had to change it. It was like a 4-month window. I already know where you're going with this.
It's called Red Line.
Oh, and I wasn't thinking that.
It's these little bottles about yay big. This was like before energy drinks got big and like there was pre-workout and stuff like that. But there's these little bottles of Red Line. You could get them in 4-packs at Walmart or somewhere like that. But you had to be 18 to get. So like you had, it was because it was so powerful that like if you drank it on a serving size was like a quarter of, and you're supposed to dilute it. You're supposed to like dilute it and put it in your waters. We would drink the whole thing before each college football game. And like, so these aren't like painkillers or anything like that, but you can't feel shit. You're like bouncing off the walls and like, and then after the game's over, you feel like you want to die because all the shit is worn off and everything. But I just remember like the first half of every college football game, like I'm so wired and like jacked up, you can't feel anything. And that was like, now, like I said, I know it got banned, I think, because it was like really unhealthy and people were taking too much and like having heart attacks because it was that, like they drink like 2 of them. And it was like drinking like 10 monsters. That's how powerful this stuff was. So anyway, but imagine what these guys, like imagine what DK, look at him. Imagine what DK Metcalf is taking before a football game. Like he looks like a Greek god. He's probably juiced to the gills. Like he's not thinking clearly during these football games.
Yeah, but you're as an NFL official, you're never like, all right, so what do we do if one of our players goes to the end zone and uppercuts a fan from the, like that's not the scenario you draw up.
Right?
It just happens.
It's like the only way you could draw that up is like so the Always Sunny guys, for people that watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, every year they like lock themselves in a room for like a month or whatever and like just throw shit at the wall for like stupid bit ideas. It's like you'd have to like be in that room to come up with this. Like it's like an Always Sunny bit that was too unrealistic that even they wouldn't even put it onto a show because in the middle, it's like the second quarter of like a do or die playoff football game, and he's over. They said that the guy had a DK Metcalf like shirt or jersey or something like that. So I guess DK got duped into thinking he was like a fan or something like that. And I guess maybe he was, maybe we'll find out what he said. I don't know. And then Metcalf, he just tries to straight Ayuk in him, like go full uppercut on a fit. Imagine if he landed that blow and the dude just like tumbles onto the field. Like where was security? I don't know. Anyway, football is like chaotic, right? Like this guy could have needed DK Metcalf and the dude's out here punching fans during the game. Like just total nonsense.
Yeah, and insanity.
That's hilarious. So then he really should know, by the way, to not go fight if there's a history of this guy harassing DK Metcalf. Like, I'm sorry, but he called DK by his full name. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of thin skin, I think, though. Of course, we shouldn't heckle the players, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it was so crazy. You felt like, if you have a little too much pre-workout or something, your skin gets a little itchy. That's how it was. But it was almost like you surpassed the itchy point where it was just like you just don't feel anything. And your whole body was messed up. Let's see. Peter is got a sweat in the palm 3. 80% auto drafted team that is his sweat because he is a full-blown sicko. Shout out, Peter, you are in the right place. Multi-tabling 7 fast drafts at a time on his phone, so he ended up autoing this one. But yes, good luck to everybody that's sweating something. We got another one. 3 years of putting in a lot of work to BBM. This is well deserved. Then fading under 33 points from Warren or 40 burger from Downs. Look, I'm not trying to jinx it, but enjoy. Good luck in the final. Like if that happens, like I think it's just time to shut down the best ball career because you ran so bad. But you're welcome for the combos. Thank you for the comment and good luck, man. In the BBM finals, there's nothing better than the week 17 sweats. Jason's got a Genti team in the little board. That's super fun. And the Genty folks are coming out here. Another Genty in the Palm 3 and copy paste. How should you feel about needing a Kittle 18-point game tonight? I would say, it's a dog. You're a dog on underdog. Yeah. You're a dog for anybody to score 18 points other than CMC or Purdy. But I mean, it's going to be a fun sweat. Hopefully get that first touchdown in the first half.
And get it right away, right off the bat.
Get a touchdown or whatever in the first half, and you're going to have a really fun sweat. I can assure you, it's not very fun waiting for Jahmyr Gibbs to finally eclipse 3 fantasy points in the fourth quarter of a football game. So hopefully he can get it out of the way early. Any unless you want to share something from week 16 or just any overall kind of thoughts about the fantasy playoffs up until this point before we start to think about week 17.
No, I just think that I love the cumulative scoring formats and stuff, but there is nothing like the sweats in playoff format every year. Like it's more highs and lows. You're never going to have this high and low in the cumulative format. So like that's whoever you are as a person, you should know which one you can manage a little bit better, whether you just want the ebb and flow of a regular cumulative, or if you're chasing the highs and able to deal with the lows of the playoff format, that's fun too. That's why I want to get back into next year doing a little bit more of the playoff stuff again, just to have more sweats in week 15, 16. And if you're ever lucky enough, I mean, we've been to plenty of finals ourselves, but the week 17 final sweat, the great thing about the week 17, it still hurts, but it never hurts that much, right? Like it's always like you're just happy to be there type of deal. And it's like, yes, you want to win. Yes, you're sweating it out, but you're never like wanting to put your head through the wall like you are, this week. Last week, you just want to find a bridge to jump off of. This week, you want to punch something. Next week, you feel better, right? Like that's like sort of the 3-step process for the playoff format. So I just want to make sure that I can experience all those again next year. So I'll be firing more playoff stuff again next year. But again, some of the people that are leaving these comments, if you're in the Discord, drop your teams in the Discord this week so that we can sweat them together in the game day chat next week. It's always fun rooting on people because like I have no agenda, right? Like if I'm not there, I'm going to root for Erik or I'm going to root for anyone in the finals that like I talk to there's no jealousy. Like, dude, I want everyone we talk to win.
Dude, the pie is so big. We can all get our little sliver. And like you said, if I wasn't there when the pie came out, right? Everybody else has got their piece. Dude, go. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be more contests. I'm drafting the shit out of playoff best ball teams right now. We move on to the next. I'll sweat some NBA and we'll get ready for the big board. And like, I've had my sweats. You've had yours. Sometimes you don't get them and somebody else gets them. We root for it. The comp though, that I do want to talk about the like contest structure, even like piggybacking on your playoff format point, because that's something I think from a lesson learned about myself. Everybody's a little bit different, but I want to talk about that. But it hits home with me, the like week 15, 16, 17, like comparing the sweats as right. So I'm from St. Louis, as you can obviously tell, in St. Louis gear and stuff like that. But I specifically like the team I root for the most in all of sports is actually the St. Louis University basketball team. Like we got season tickets. I follow every game. I know I follow it very closely. And I find the joy of rooting for like a mid-major, right? Like rooting for like the underdog Cinderella. Like I have no idea, like no, thoughts that they're ever going to win a national title or whatever. But it kind of makes it fun because you're like sweating out, just getting into the dance is like the whole goal for the SLU basketball team every single year is, can you somehow get into the tournament? Right. And it's like I don't care what seed, I don't care who they play. The last time they got in the tournament, I forget who it was. It's been years that they played and they were 20-point dogs in the first round. And like, you just knew they were going to get their ass kicked, but it's like, I'll still cheer if they get in. I'll cheer my nuts off, right? And I'll sweat the game and I'll be jacked up. But if they lose, and even if they get blown out, it's like I don't really care. I'm happy and I'm proud. But the game in the conference tournament, right, against fucking VCU or whatever in the conference tournament. That's like, if they lose, the season is over. You're like, that's miserable, right? And you lose that one, and you feel absolutely miserable about losing that game. And so like, that's the comparison of like the week 16 sweat is fun, but it's also heart wrenching. Same thing with week 15 versus like, if you just get it to week 17, like, whatever, man. It's totally fine. You kind of accomplish your goal. You always want it to get as much money out of it as possible, but it's still fun nonetheless.
God, I don't know what made this come into my head as you were talking about that. Talking about a sweat with college basketball. Do you remember when we were kids? I think it was Sprite, where you used to go buy a Sprite and they would have the college basketball team under the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And you would pull a team like St. Louis, and you'd be like, God, you just throw this cap away.
No, give me Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, whatever. Yeah. And you're like, St. Mary's, fuck. Gotta go mow some more lawns to go buy some more goddamn Sprite to try to get, I remember those days. Those are the best. We need more of those, by the way. What happened to, dude, when we were growing up, it's back in my day, but it was always like, did Monopoly at McDonald's like ruin it for everybody else? Because it used to be, there was never ending like games like that, like under soda cans, right? Or whatever. There was always different little fun games like that. And I feel like there's none of them anymore.
Yeah. It was so fun. They still have the Monopoly. It doesn't feel quite the same as it did. I never won anything on the Monopoly other than the free food, but
right. But you paid $100, but you got that free, McGriddle, and you're like, fuck yes,
I paid small fry.
I paid $50 for this bag of fries, but it felt good to win something. All I was going to add before we talk about some week 17 stuff is, I feel for me personally. So if I had two takeaways in this moment, I haven't like really dug into my portfolio or where I may have gone wrong or what have you. We'll certainly do that over the course of the next couple months. I got to figure out where I'm going wrong just from an underdog perspective. I know that DraftKings has softer drafters, so it's natural to have a little bit better teams there. But the teams that I'm getting through on DraftKings and just overall the teams I'm drafting there, I think have been better constructed, have been just overall better process, everything. About my DraftKings teams have been better. I'm slowly getting better on drafters from a cumulative, like you said. I played cumulative better this year. Still got plenty of room to grow there, but I feel like DraftKings overall has been pretty. I mean, I just showed you a team that like I feel really good about. I don't really no regrets right about that team on DraftKings, but on Underdog, just the fewer roster spots, the half point PPR, which induces a lot of variance. People will say it's about the running back stuff. I think it's just so touchdown driven that I think sometimes I probably struggle with that a little bit. And just I've been poor at Underdog, but part of that also where I want to pivot some of my focus is this got brought up in the lab, which we do in our Discord every Wednesday, about doing some of these different tournaments, right? Like you've talked the Pointer, somebody's talking about the Pomeranian 3, Huskies and whatever, all these other side tournaments. And finding the tournaments with these advance rates that do give you the opportunity for a little bit better sweat. Because I've found that the sweat part, the money is great. I want to sweat the big scores like everybody else does. But there's just something about like having a realistic shot, not needing the stone cold nuts every week, 15, 16, and 17, and giving yourself that sweat equity. Because like I want to also make sure that I'm just enjoying this as much as possible. And I think I did a really poor job, especially on Underdog. It was like BBM, the puppies, Eliminator, right? And it was like, those are like the absolute worst contests to play in this regard from a sweat equity and a playoff advancement perspective. It's the most money up top, but I don't think it lends itself to the best playoff sweat. If you're just drafting a million teams or you only want to chase the high prizes, by all means, everybody should do what they think is best. But for me, I think that's something I'm going to be really much more focused on next year is kind of some of the advanced structures and making sure I'm not just kind of being a robot and piling into whatever new big tournament comes out on these sites and really investing in some of these, more mid-sized or even smaller tournaments because the playoff stuff is awesome in those.
Yeah. And we both come from DFS where when I first started DFS, probably 2014, 2013, somewhere around there, all I was doing was playing the FanDuel Millionaire Maker, which was $3 at the time, I think. Yep. And and I would max enter, and I didn't even have like CSVs and everything like that. And I continued doing that for years and years and years in some form or fashion, whether it was FanDuel or DraftKings, playing the big lotteries. And then I realized that I can invest the same amount of money, play a single entry for $100 or $200, create a lineup that I can just absolutely root for that lineup every week, focus on those players, right? And I can still do some other stuff too if I want. Like I like to do the early only and the late only, but really limit the amount of lineups that I'm playing and root for those and have that sweat every week. And that works for me. Some people
Right.
want to do that big lottery stuff, and that works for them. So there's not a right or wrong answer. It's are you looking to do more teams? Are you looking to do less teams with higher buy-ins with better sweats? It's just seeing what comes out there. I think for me, one of the best things that came out this year was the first quarter tournament, and they did the second and the third. I didn't do any of the fourth one, which just like that was time stuff on my side. It wasn't a bad tournament. They were all good, but I have a blast every time we can do the first 4 weeks and stuff like that. And it's just like finding the tournaments that you really enjoy playing, that you think you might even have an edge in, like those in particular. I feel like if you're watching this show, you probably have an edge in that particular format of a tournament versus the regular field. So it's, what do you like to play? Like, what are you looking for? What is the experience you're trying to have? Are you just trying to win $2 million? Then I get it. Just fire the big tournaments. Are you looking to actually sweat? Are you looking to jump on the Discord or any of the Discords and be like, I got this sweat, and like, you're comparing your sweats with other people that play this crazy game that we play that have a lot of fun with it? Like what is the experience? You can cater the experience you want to have in best ball. This isn't a one size fits all. It's do what makes you happy in this. And you don't, just because BBM is the most streamed or the DK Millie is the most streamed, like that's what like the people want to watch per se, or like the big buy-ins. If you're sitting on your couch, I'll sit there and I'll fire a couple of the cheap stuff, or I'll sit there and I'll fire some of the big stuff, like $100 buy-in without streaming it, just to get that volume in. So it's what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's not even about, right, like bankroll or dollar amount. I do like, because everybody does want to have a big potential payoff at the end of the season. So I'm always going to pile into some of the, right, like we were just talking about the 555. I particularly like that tournament because it does give it a little bit of best of both worlds. As the huge, now it costs a lot more money, of course, but there's alternative versions to that as well. $3, $5, $7, $12, right? Like $33. There's like, the menu is so big now in best ball. There's multiple sites, right? We just got another new site this year with Fast Draft. There's like so many different games and so many options that anybody can do, like you said, whatever your goals are, everybody can play, pick the correct contests. And I know what my goals are. And I talk about the sweat all the time. I believe why when people are constantly wanting to like change, right? Like when BBM went to giving away huge amounts of regular season prizes, I totally understand. And that's their preference. I understand why people like that. But for me, the reason why I started a best ball company, the reason why I am so passionate about this space and everything is because of the sweat component. And that really ultimately comes from the playoff format stuff. And I understand the downside of it, the variance. We all experience that, right? We just talked about some of that. But the 15, 16, and particularly week 17, the feeling like of joy and excitement of rooting for every touchdown and every catch and every little thing and rooting against, right, your opponents and all that kind of stuff. There's just like nothing like it. And at least I played DFS for more than a decade, and like it doesn't even compare, right? I've been to a bunch of live finals, sweating $3 million top prizes at these events, and like the best ball sweat was more fun. It really was. Like making a BBM final and having a team charge up the leaderboard was the most fun I've ever had from like a gambling perspective, right? Like you would compare it to your run at the main event, right? Yeah. And where it's just like you just can't, that sweat, that all the work you put in to get this, like, however close I get, cool, but this is just like so much fun. I just have to, it becomes robotic over the summer, right? You're getting the dog days and you're just like, I got to get these teams done. I got to draft. They launched this new tournament. And I know I didn't, even though it's a priority for me, didn't spend the time to be like, remember, think back to weeks 15, 16, 17 and how fun that was to give yourself a better shot at a finals team. Even, oh no, it's only $25,000 to first place. Whatever will I do with $25,000, right? But you get a better chance at the $25,000, and you also get a better chance to enjoy the ride to maybe reaching that goal. And it's just, I'm just sharing because that's how I feel. Other people are going to feel differently. But in this moment, when I'm trying to think about things to improve upon and like, remember this next summer, dummy, that's one of them for me.
Yeah. I mean, and we do that with everything in relation to football. There's a point in June where you're like, I will take any football game right now. Please give me this Saints-Jets game. I will watch all 4 quarters of this. I don't care if it's a blowout. I don't care if Taysom Hill's the starting running back for the New Orleans Saints. I will watch this football game, right? And then there, by like yesterday, if you were told people that's the only game you can watch, if it was an island game, everyone would be like, if I have nothing else to do, I will watch that game. So it's like, we're just how we are as people, man. Like, but it's find what's going to make you the most happy, invest in those tournaments. You'll be much happier. Huhames in the chat says he's downsized his BBM entries to do way more drafts, and it was so much more fun. And that was his way to have fun. Your way to have fun might be to do more BBM drafts, right? Like, are either of you wrong? No. Like it's like that's just something we don't have to argue about. It's about finding what you want to do, right? Like just figure out what's going to make you the most happy. Sometimes it is last team. Sometimes it's drafting all of one player. Sometimes it's fading players. Like we have so many. Best ball equals so many paths to how you can enjoy the season, or like, and also how to give yourself some miserable days. Like if you faded some of these players, but like it's so much fun. It's unlike any other fantasy thing that we do. Always remember to enjoy it. Like, try not to let it get to you too much. Enjoy it when you do get there. If you got a team to the finals this week, embrace it. Enjoy the shit out of it. I don't care where it is. It is such a great feeling. Like, you can joke about it, but as Erik said, top prizes are still $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $10,000. Like, if someone walked up to you and handed you 10 grand at the beginning of the year saying this is what you're going to win in best ball, you would take that in a heartbeat. Like, yep, yeah, I'll take it. Thanks. So just enjoy it. Just remember to enjoy it.
Yeah. It's really easy, and we will get lost in the sauce over the course of the summer. Lord knows I do. We're trying to, we care, right? So we're like trying to grind edges and what's the best structure and which is the best rookie pick and who, should I take this third quarterback or this, whatever. And like, that's 100% what we should be doing, but you also shouldn't lose track of the like, let's not, we don't know how long we'll be able to do this. We don't know, I don't mean like death. I mean, like, it's a chaotic, the gambling world is chaotic and all that kind of stuff. Like, we got to just try to enjoy it. And if we're going to invest this much time and money, I better fucking enjoy it. There's a lot of stuff we invest a lot of time and money into that we don't get to enjoy. I don't want my main hobby in my entire life to suck the life out of me. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to bring positivity. So a segue. My finals team, as I mentioned, it is number 7. I promise I did not know that. That was just a guess. But we're gonna try to become a king of the desert next week. I know this guy is close, but I'll break down why this team is pretty much through here in a second. But as you see, so it's a Drake May Diggs team, which worked out very well last night in that game, and then it is Puka, JSN, and Pickens as well. So at wide receiver, with those 4 wide receivers alone, it's pretty good at wide receiver. But it needs to be, Rob, because the other wide receivers are Ricky Pearsall, who I don't know is going to come back next week. And even if he does, he's been so banged up, it will be hard for me to imagine he's like a fantasy difference maker in the finals. De'Ami Brown, who, yikes. Jalen Royals, who played 3 snaps while Juju Smith-Schuster played 90% of the snaps for the Kansas City, Kansas Chiefs. Now we have learned Devon Vele, who sadly would have been really nice to have on this team because he was coming on strong down the stretch, and Torrey Horton. So it really has 4 wide receivers. Now they're very good wide receivers to have. So that's nice. But like I said, that's why I compared it a little bit to like a redraft team, because I know who's scoring the points on this team. If they don't have big games, I'm not going to, and I'm probably not going to win anyway, but has that stack, like I said, with Puka JSN and George Pickens. So pretty good there. Kyle Pitts is my tight end. He's my only tight end because Tucker Kraft is the other tight end. Same thing. Like, do I regret that? Would a third tight end change this team? No, not really. Especially because if I took a tight end in the last round, I wouldn't have Woody Marks, right? Devon Vele ended up being helpful. Torrey Horton was helpful in the beginning of the season. You could easily say like, well, you should have taken him over one of these two guys. But like, sure, if I can pick out my worst player of every team and add in a good player, I'd be pretty fucking good at this best ball thing if you would allow me to do that. But Kyle Pitts has carried thus far. I don't have a lot of hopes against the Rams, but we'll see. Then at running back, I didn't know. I forgot who the Chargers played, and Vidal got hurt, and I was eyeing up this team, right, because it was doing pretty well during early on. Obviously, had Puka and JSN, and Vidal gets hurt for the Chargers, and I'm like, ooh, I know I had a couple Hampton teams, and I'm like, oh man, if we can get a Hampton team through to the final, that'd be sick. And they play the Texans. So, of course, they play the best defense in the NFL. However, Genty did just go nuts against them. So maybe Hampton can still sneak out a good game. And on the opposite side of that Genty game, Tracy is fine, but probably lost Travion, I would assume, for week 17, which really sucks. He's playing the Jets. It's a good matchup for Travion, but it does have JT. They're probably going to get the shit kicked out of him by the new wagon that is the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 17. Good Lord. And so maybe it needs Woody Marks, but ultimately it's kind of like these guys plus JT is really, all I'm rooting for, which is it's a good little stable. It's just a very little stable. I'm a small farm here with this team, but like I said, definitely not complaining about a week 17 team with a bunch of good players, but in a lot of trouble to really do damage. And you got to finish at the very top of this one. So
yeah, if you have to go to war with a handful of guys, those are the handful of guys for the most part that you'd want to go to war with, especially at the wide receiver, the quarterback, your tight end's good. I mean, you're a little light at running back, but you're going to be light somewhere and might as well, you have the team in the finals. Like I would take it.
Chip in a chair with, a team in the finals with Puka Pickens, JSN, Jonathan Taylor, Amari and Hampton without Kamani Vidal. Like, yeah, dude, you can't. You truly can't ask for much more. And like the Patriots have a good there's some good matchups on here. Down to the sweat stuff, right? Puka Pitts on Monday night, right? Like if Drake May goes crazy, throws a couple touchdowns to Stephon Diggs, or Hampton has a good game, and you're like sweating this out. That's it, man. Like that's what more can you ask for? Like Puka's going to be very popular, of course. So will Kyle Pitts, but yeah. So this is, of course, my one final team, and like I said, this is the little bit of the downside. Also, someone might say, why do you play these other ones? Because you might draft your best team into this one. It's like you also could not draft this team, which is the alternative.
Yeah, because like you don't get this team if you're not with the other 12 people, 11 people in that pod at that exact moment with the exact information that you have. Like you just never know. Like there's so many variables that we try to include. If we get to sweat this stuff out on Friday on Thursday for the Christmas slate with oh my God, they must be so mad.
First game is Cowboys. Cowboys are kicking us off with Pickens is going to be very popular. There's definitely going to be other Cowboys in that game, and it's a stone cold smash spot. But they're eliminated. It's going to be a crazy kickoff to the day. I'm not sure that all the games are going to be particularly entertaining though.
Yeah, but they tried to build it to be entertaining, and that's what I was alluding to is. Man, they were like, we're gonna put these playoff potential matchups on Christmas Day. Oh, God damn! What a Christmas slate! What a DFS slate! I know we're not talking about that, but I know I'm gonna probably fire $100 single entry on Christmas Day somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna figure out who to play in that one.
Is the most unfadeable play on the DFS slate the fucking Broncos defense against the Chiefs without Mahomes? And for anyone that doesn't know this, Cowboys Commanders kick off the day on Netflix and at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we get Lions Vikings. So, like you said, the Commanders go to the conference championship game last year, and it's the Cowboys, so they're kind of always going to get primetime games. Lions, Vikings, both playoff teams last year coming into the season, and then Broncos, Chiefs. And so the NFL is like, what doesn't get better, right? Before the season, they're like, this is the dreamiest Christmas slate of all time. And now you're looking at it like Joe Milton versus Marcus Mariota. The Lions are eliminated, and JJ McCarthy is the most unwatchable fucking football player you've ever seen in your entire life. And Patrick Mahomes is hurt, and his backup is also hurt. And you get to watch whatever Oladukin. They did sign Shane Buechele. They might get Shane Buechele coming off of his couch. Shane Buechele being the Chiefs' version of Phillip Rivers for a Christmas short week. He gets to come in and go through 2 walkthroughs and go face the Broncos on Christmas. Like, oh my God, what an absolute disaster. So yeah, I'll be watching. I'm definitely going to watch the noon game. We may be watching some NBA in the afternoon and night of Christmas Day. So
yeah, as Pepper Tony said, Xmas is usually for basketball, and I know football's been trying to take it, but they ain't taking it this year. They ain't the year for it.
Yeah, they tried. Then they tried. I mean, it was a respectable effort, but when we talk about the chaos of the playoff weeks and the variance and everything of the playoff weeks, there's nothing better than DK Metcalf punching someone, Taysom Hill turning into fucking LaDainian Tomlinson, and then this Christmas Day slate. Like, who could have predicted any of this shit? Like, those games are horrible. And the game's in Kansas City, and they just announced the fact they're leaving Kansas City, and they're gonna have to watch this disaster. Like, they're the worst team in them and the Jets are like the worst teams in the NFL now because of the injuries that have happened, and those poor Chiefs fans, and nobody feels bad for them, but still it's gonna suck on you bought Christmas. Imagine paying for those Christmas tickets and now having to go watch this fucking abomination of a football team.
Well, I have good news for everybody. I mean, the Chiefs may be dead, but the Patriots have been resurrected, and it's been a while since they won a Super Bowl, so probably
drafting a bunch of them today, the Patriots.
It's, dude. So what I think is funny is that, like, this playoff, this is another show, but just while I have these thoughts in my head, it feels like the most wide open year for the playoffs ever. And I only see 3 teams making the Super Bowl. Like, there's only 3 teams total that I see making the Super Bowl.
Who is it?
So it's Buffalo. It's New England.
Oh, from the AFC. Yeah.
And it's Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so you're anti-Rams.
They're not going. The Rams aren't going to beat Philly. I
mean, if you go look at all my drafts today, I'm totally game for this. Also, fuck Stan Kroenke, so I'm in for that as well. I've been drafting a bunch of Eagles with a lot of the AFC teams that you mentioned there today. So I really, really like the Rams. I like the Rams more than you do. But yeah, the Eagle. We've seen this story, dude.
Yeah.
We've seen this Eagle story all year. We're just fucking complaining. Like, throw the ball, please. Right? Like, and at least last year it was like Saquon was just scoring 70-yard touchdowns every week. So they had a reason. Right. But like, remember, I don't know how many times I referenced, like, Bryce Young almost came back and beat the Eagles in the fourth, right? If Xavier Legette wasn't completely fucking incompetent, they would have came back and beat the Eagles last year. And then they went on a run to the Super Bowl, to a Super Bowl championship, where they beat the ever-loving shit out of everybody along the way. And it's like, it just feels like, yeah, this is the same thing. It's right. Devontae's got the hammy, it's just like they're about to get Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson back. It's like, we part due. The Eagles annoying ass Super Bowl.
Bench Jalen Hurts.
We gotta watch Nick Sirianni do this shit again. Like, what in the hell? Like, this terrible head coach is gonna win back-to-back fucking Super Bowls. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it just dawned on me yesterday. I'm like, it's because you can't trust Denver, like, at all.
No.
And you think I'm gonna Jacksonville Jacksonville, the Jacksonville
I'm
Jaguars.
drafting him, but I
Yeah.
agree. Does it feel good? Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix led teams. I don't care how well they play. You're never gonna trust it, right? It's like James Harden in the fucking playoffs. Like, I don't care if he's first team All NBA. He's gonna shoot 2 for 19 in Game 7. I know he is, right? Or he's gonna shoot 2 for 6 and just say, I don't know, I didn't feel like fucking shooting today. It's like, brother, like, what? I'm waiting for Trevor Lawrence to throw the 3 back-breaking interceptions in one of these games and be like, I fucking knew it. He got, he duped me. And Bo Nix, that just is what it is. He is going to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just like, how do we trust anything? And then the one quarterback you trust in the AFC is, of course, Josh Allen. I don't trust a single goddamn thing in the whole organization. The GM is a moron. The head coach is a moron. The defense stinks. They nearly lost to the fucking Browns. And James Cook is awesome, but you can't build the whole plane out of Josh Allen handing off to James Cook. It kind of defeats the purpose of Josh Allen.
Right. It's insane. And I didn't love the hiring of Vrabel for the Patriots, but like, of all years to have Vrabel as the head coach of this team, turns out this is the year, and they're a complete team with a good defense. Drake May is actually really good. Like, I don't know, dude. It's just like, what's old is new again, and we know what's what. We act like it's wide open, and I'm like, I don't think it is. Like, I guess like theoretically it is, but I don't think it is. Like, I think we're just shell shocked by some of the names that have fallen,
right?
But it's just like, you look at it, it's like, well, we think it's wide open because of all these new names, when it's like, actually the people that have been there are just the people that are going to get there. So
yeah, we're like, well, yeah, like Jacksonville goes to Denver and wins and all this. And like, trust me, if you've been in my drafts, you see me drafting far more Parker Washington than I ever thought I was going to draft in playoff best ball in 2025. Right? Parker Washington, Mac Hollins at the end of every draft feels like something out of the fucking X-Files. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm doing it nonstop. But anyway, it is one of those where you're just like, nothing feels good, which in turn ends up meaning like, get ready to watch fucking Jalen Hurts against Josh Allen, right? Or Jalen Hurts against the Patriots or whatever. And you're just like, yep. When we feel like it's wide open, and ends up oftentimes being the default. But I do think the playoffs are going to be awesome. We should just quickly, though, talk about the final of the best ball playoffs that everybody's interested in. Do you have any like thoughts about just like, it could be anything, right? About week 17, something you're excited for, something you would want to see on a team or not want to see on your opponent's teams, or just anything along those lines?
Like, I'm shocked that we see so many people in the chat that have Jinty teams, but like, that's a fun one. If you could get like a Nico Collins team through, like that's what I'm looking at. It's like, I'm not there, so I don't have a Puka team, but I'd be like, what variants of, like, did you get Jamar Chase through?
Yeah.
Like that's the big one, right? Like, if you got the Jamar Chase team through versus Puka, like, you feel really good about that because they're not slowing down at all. They're just going out there to put up stats right now.
And the Cardinals defense is straight Swiss cheese. So
just absolute trash, right? So like, you love that game. That's the game you're going to hear about all week.
If you play DFS this week, it's going to be what do we do with Bengals?
Yeah, how do we get Bengals Cardinals on our team, right? So it's
Genty, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, these guys who invest ball, you couldn't get there, and now they're, like you said, they're the best play. Every DFS tout's going to be talking about.
Yeah, so like, that's the stuff I'm going to be looking at, like the low advance, like, because it's so funny because it's the regular season one was Jonathan Taylor, now it's Puka. So how do you get through those teams? Like, and if you got the other side of those guys, like, those were the ones that I want to sweat. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at the teams that people throw up in our Discord to root for. Hope that they get some wins. I'd love to see some trophies in the trophies channel this year from some of our Discord members.
I totally agree. Yeah, if you're in the Discord, there's a trophy case channel. So I mean, you could post a team that got to week 17 in there for all I care. That should be celebrated as well. Just a super quick look at the week 17 schedule. I know if you're one of the sickos, you probably already know a lot of these matchups and everything, but just some things that maybe didn't feel as good. That's what I like to look at, is like, what was the thing that over the summer we probably were like, yeah, no, not an exciting game, right? Not an exciting matchup, not whatever. And it's like, I don't know, man. That Jets defense is also pretty bad. Everybody is lighting up the Jets defense, and so I'm very biased because I have the Drake May, like a Patriots stack in on my only team. But like, it's hard for me to see the Patriots failing against the Jets. I don't know who's going to get the points, but like if they don't score 30 plus against this Jets defense, I would be pretty shocked, even outdoors in New York in December.
And they're playing for seeding, so they're gonna go put it on them.
Brady Cook, please throw a couple touchdowns so that Drake is still feeling frisky in the second half. Or
for so much right now.
Brady Cook can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm pretty convinced after watching that game, after watching the last two. My God, it is tough scenes. Just put Tyrod or Fields back in. I know you're gonna lose. It's one of those things where like a tanking NBA team like doesn't want to play, like the Jazz might not want to play Lauri Markkanen or whatever. Well, he's a fucking all-star. And like taking that away and putting in like a rookie in an NBA game is like, okay, this is like, yeah, we better do this. The line won't move. Whoever they start at quarterback, the betting line is not going to change. Right. Fields, Tyrod, whatever. At least like let your young guys have a chance, right? Like you want to see what AD Mitchell has. How the fuck can you find out what AD Mitchell is with Brady Cook back there?
Yeah,
at quarterback, like put Tyrod back there at least. So do something.
You need Tyrod. It always blows my mind because Miami just did this too, to an extent. I understand the Miami one a little more when they played Ewers when they had Zach Wilson, but it's like, then why is Zach Wilson there?
Yeah, what's the point of him being on the team?
Then why is he there? Like if your thought was at the end of the year, if we're not good, we're gonna pull Tua, shouldn't it be to play Zach Wilson to see what you have? And if he was never the answer, then why did you sign him? Just sign Ewers and bring in a third, undrafted rookie free agent quarterback. Because if we're just going to play that lottery game, play it with more bullets.
Yeah, because if the point is, which is what I guess they would say, is that early in the season when we're still trying to win, when we're in the hunt, he gives us a better chance, right? But it's like you also have to take a step back. Like this is not Jacoby Brissett. This is not Malik Willis. This is not right. This we're talking about Zach Wilson, who's been run out of everywhere he's gone. He's absolutely horrible. We all understand that he's horrible. You're not winning the Super Bowl, right? If Tua goes out, it's that either Tua is hurt, it's over. You were playing well with Tua. Zach Wilson's not saving your season, or like you said, it's the end of the season. We're going to bench Tua, in which case we want to find out the young guy. You should just find out the young guy, period. Right? I don't mean at week one, but I mean like no matter which way it happens to Tua, injury or tanking stuff, like it is what it is. Time to rebuild, right? Like that's what, and so I do understand the Jets side of that thing, but Zach Wilson isn't helping them get a better look at these at fucking Greg Dulcich or whatever, right? Like they're playing Theo Weiss. Like they don't really care about Theo Weiss, right? Like, but there's definitely a nuance to it for sure. But like, yeah, I just don't. I mean, I think we often assume, like we do in a lot of parts of life, of like the rich and powerful people are automatically like smarter than us or smarter than the average person at all these different things. When in reality, a lot of these NFL teams are like making a lot of mistakes. Like they're like expensive businesses, they're worth billions, but they're like small businesses with like not always the best employees or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, man, the Dolphins have made a lot of fucking mistakes. I don't know why we're giving them the benefit of the doubt on their decision making. They paid Tyreek Hill and Tua and all these guys all kinds of money, and they're keeping Mike McDaniel around for some unknown reason. But
well, you're allowed, whole nother conversation for another day, but when you allow people to make decisions that are fighting for their job day after day, to make like cutthroat decisions like that can affect you for 5 years when they're going to be gone in 30 days. Like it's just like it's a recipe for disaster across the board, and you see it on team after team after team. These teams that can't get out of their own way just continue to do this. So
my St. Louis Cardinals, to bring it back to one of my own personal views, it's been terrible for years. They've ruined one of the better sports franchises in all of sports, certainly American sports and certainly baseball. And they did this. John Mozeliak was the general manager and had been the general manager for a long time, but they announced before last season that it was going to be his last. And they're like, then they hired the guy who was going to take over him was on staff. We announced it, right? Announced this transition plan and all this bullshit. And they're like, but he's still running the trade deadline and he's running the draft and he's Mozeliak was. And it's like, why? Like, he should just be there to like show him like what's the fucking code to get into the garage or whatever. Like, why is he making any of these decisions? He's going to be gone in 6 months. Like, he got you to this place. Or like Mike McDaniel wanted this. He's the one who helped built this, right? He wanted Tyreek. He wanted to keep Tua. Yep. He wanted Waddle. He traded the farm for all these 30-year-old defenders, right? Like he tore them down. So why are we letting him make these decisions? Very strange.
Yeah, just constant, just a vicious cycle.
Let's see, just a couple of final comments. I agree. Versaire says good luck to everyone. I'm a musician, says need 25 points from Jawan Jennings to get a second DK Millie into the finals. Am I cooked? You're definitely not. Tonight's game, I think there's going to be plenty of fantasy points, and I think there's no Ricky Pearsall. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk is still out, despite what the Colts defense did last week against the Seahawks, like kind of slowing them, or 2 weeks ago against it's 2 weeks ago, right? Seattle, yeah, because Seattle was Thursday against the Puka game. But anyway, this Colts defense without Sauce, without like, it was a minor miracle that they didn't give up more points to Seattle a couple of weeks ago. I think, and the Niners defense is bad. So I think there's like a little bit of sneaky shootout type stuff if Phillip Rivers can hold up his end of the bargain. At 25 points is a lot, of course, for any individual player, but you're far from cooked. He's legitimately live to do that.
Bonuses and a touchdown with the full point PPR. You are
that's 9.
Be close.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
exactly. So yeah, I like Juwan. That's another reason why, to put a bow on it, why I was excited about my team that had Juwan. I was like, man, put me in striking distance and have Juwan go on Monday night. I think it's a live team. So you should feel live if you have Juwan or Kittle or Jonathan Taylor or any of that. I think it's going to be a fun game. We do got to get out of here. I will say, if anybody is in the St. Louis area, I'm going to the bragging rights Mizzou, Illinois game tonight. If you're going to be there, we can have a beer. You can message me, come find me or whatever. And Rob and I will be back next week to break down everything that is week 17. Hopefully I'll have a sweat, no pun intended, in the desert to be chasing down the king of the desert. And good luck to all of you guys. I'll be back rest of this week. We'll do some playoff best ball drafts and look at week 17 some more. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And appreciate you guys. Enjoy tonight's game and enjoy the week 17 sweat if you got them. We'll catch you guys next week. Cheers.
Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.